Good evening, I'm Tips Mahoy, and this is ArthIntel Evening Edition. Coming up, U.S. aircraft carrier on way to relieve USS Lincoln after issues reported on board. Palestinians besieged in West Bank village of Qusra fear Israeli settlers will seize their homes. 7.7 magnitude earthquake hits Indonesia. That, plus a check of the weather across the country. We begin tonight with the top stories from around the world. The USS George Washington is steaming toward the Middle East to relieve the USS Abraham Lincoln, which has been deployed since December 11th, far longer than the typical 6-month tour. Families of sailors on the Lincoln have raised alarm over reported food shortages, broken plumbing, and exhaustion, with some relatives saying crew members considered jumping overboard, according to reports from the Military Times and Stars and Stripes. The Navy has acknowledged supply disruptions by combat actions during the war with Iran, but denies any mental health crisis aboard the ship. President Trump, asked about the deployment's length, dismissed concerns and said it was not nearly long enough, while confirming a replacement vessel was on the way. In the West Bank town of Qusra, Palestinian families say Israeli settlers have blockaded their homes since Sunday, part of what the Associated Press describes as a wave of settler violence in the occupied territory. Residents like Qusay Abu Rida say the army removes settlers only for them to return, calling it cat and mouse, while his brother in Ohio, who owns one of the besieged homes, plans to travel there to help protect it. Palestinian officials report nearly 1,500 settler attacks so far this year, and the Palestinian Authority's health ministry says 87 Palestinians have been killed by settlers and soldiers in the West Bank in 2026. Amid the standoff, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz announced he would strip the army of enforcement power over Israeli civilians in the West Bank, shifting that authority to police. Indonesia has issued a tsunami warning after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck near Flores Island along the country's northern coast Saturday morning. The U.S. Geological Survey reports 3 aftershocks, measuring 5.9, 5.6, and 6.1 magnitude. According to the Associated Press, Indonesia's meteorology agency urged residents to stay away from beaches and riverbanks and move to higher ground, though Australian authorities say there's no tsunami threat to their country. The USGS estimates about 500,000 people were exposed to very strong or severe shaking and says casualties and damage are possible, though Indonesia's government has not yet commented. Now to the political stories making news this evening. Your website should make you money, most don't. Toolbox Development builds sites that actually rank on Google and turn visitors into calls. No contracts. Find them at toolboxdevelopment.net. Luigi Mangione pleaded guilty in federal court Friday to stalking resulting in death, admitting he shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel on December 4, 2024. The 28-year-old told the judge he called United Healthcare posing as an investor to learn the location of a company conference, then traveled to New York intending to shoot Thompson. He faces a maximum sentence of life in prison, with sentencing scheduled for December 18th. Thompson's family and United Health Group both released statements saying they're grateful the federal justice system held Mangione accountable, while noting additional legal proceedings in New York and Pennsylvania are still ahead. Alex Murdaugh is back in a South Carolina courtroom Friday as his attorneys push to have his murder case dismissed entirely. According to a defense motion led by Dick Harpootlian, false physical evidence tied to SLED investigator David Owen was used to secure the original indictments against Murdaugh. The hearing, before Judge Deborah McCaslin in Lexington County, comes ahead of Murdaugh's April 2027 retrial in the 2021 killings of his wife Maggie and son Paul, a case that was overturned after the state Supreme Court found a former court clerk had improperly influenced the original jury. A former federal prosecutor says it's unclear whether the judge will rule on the dismissal motion Friday, calling it a big ask that will likely require further evidence and testimony. President Trump traveled to Nassau County, New York on Friday to rally support for Republican gubernatorial candidate Bruce Blakeman, touting his administration's efforts on crime. During the event, Trump stepped away from his remarks to personally comfort the grieving parents of 12-year-old Jacob Freites, who was fatally shot last month. Freites, the son of a retired NYPD sergeant detective, was riding his bike in the Bronx's Mount Eden neighborhood on July 25 when a fight broke out nearby, and a man opened fire, striking him with a stray bullet. He later died at the hospital. Now to the money, finance, and crypto. This spot is available. ArthIntel reaches a daily news audience on the Evening Edition and across ArthIntel.com. To advertise with us, visit ArthIntel.com. President Trump is expected to attend a White House meeting Wednesday with a group of crypto, prediction market, and AI company leaders, according to people briefed on the planning. Executives from companies including Coinbase, Ripple, Gemini, Robinhood, Polymarket, and Kalshi are set to gather, ahead of their first official session Thursday as members of the CFTC's new Innovation Advisory Committee. Sources say CFTC Chairman Mike Selig is also expected at the White House meeting, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick possibly attending as well. The White House has not responded to requests for comment on the plans. And now, today's top stories from the world of sports. Reports indicate the Cleveland Cavaliers have dealt guard Dennis Schroder to the Charlotte Hornets. Over his career, Schroder has appeared in 912 games with 441 starts, averaging 13.7 points and 4.9 assists per game. His best scoring season came in 2017-18 with the Hawks, when he averaged a career-high 19.4 points, and he finished as runner-up for Most Improved Player in 2019-20 after averaging 18.9 points for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Buffalo Bills are among several teams inquiring about a possible trade for disgruntled Tampa Bay defensive tackle Vita Vea, according to NFL Network's Mike Garafolo. Garafolo says the Bears and 49ers have also called Tampa Bay, though the Buccaneers are internally maintaining they won't trade their star lineman. Per Garafolo, Vea is upset entering the final year of his deal, set to earn around $18 million, while the top of the defensive tackle market has climbed to $38 million. Vea, 31, is viewed as one of the league's top interior linemen, and his $22 million cap hit in 2026 could factor into any potential deal. And finally, here's a look at temperatures across the country right now. It's hottest in Phoenix at 99 degrees, while Minot, ND, is the coolest spot on the board this evening at 67. That's ArthIntel Evening Edition for now, 9 stories, coast to coast. I'm Tips Mahoy for ArthIntel, signal over noise. Cut through the noise, visit ArthIntel.com for the full story, and hit subscribe and the bell icon to stay notified.